Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. It is new comic book day for the week of January 13th, and we're going to get started right now. This episode brought to you by the Comic Book Store, 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey, 08028. Come buy some comics, come buy some D&D stuff, but mainly come buy some comics.
Hey guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls, Team Ashen, Comic Book Store, at least 16 other places. How are you? Let's talk about the trades this week. First up, I've got the Eternals, the Dreaming Celestial Saga. This contains all of the original issues of the Eternals. Actually, that's a lie. This is the 85 series. I've lied to you. I think I lied to you. You know, I don't even know. I probably lied. Doesn't matter. If you want to learn about the Eternals, this is a very good starting point. I think I lied to them, Paul. The length of me checking. Then we've also got Thor and Eternals, the Celestial Saga, which contains... looks like it's mostly different issues, so the two of those is probably a super good jumping on point to who are these Eternals, right? And then the issue, the number one from last week, which Paul enjoyed.
It was very good.
We've got that Texas Blood issue 1, or volume 1. I really enjoyed this book. That book was a lot of just good stuff, good, gritty, Texas-y stuff. I have two different wordless graphic novels. They're Tom and Jerry. Classic Tom and Jerry, just beating the hell out of each other like all animals do. The Amazing Adventures of the DC Super Pets, Robin to the Rescue. And Robin's a Robin. It's adorable. We've got Marvelverse, Captain Marvel, containing a bunch of different issues, including the start of Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. I don't know what Mountainhead is, but it looks like it's up my alley. There's some drippy eyes and weird blood, and you know, when you can identify a book by weird blood, it's up my alley. I'm sure I'll read it. Black Cat, Volume 3. This is the end of the last Black Cat series. I don't know if it's coming back after the King in Black one. Not sure. Probably not. It'll probably be a new number 1 because, you know, that's where the money's at. Heroes in Crisis, The Price. This is a bunch of those tie-in stories from other books that impact, I'd say, the Heroes in Crisis story. And, yeah, you should definitely check these out if you enjoyed Heroes in Crisis but didn't read the rest. Birds of Prey, Hero Hunters. This is part of the Gail Simone run, so it's amazing. That's all I have to say about that. Batman the Chalice. This is Chuck Dixon. Always enjoy Chuck Dixon. This has some pretty cool art in it. It's John Van Fleet. Very unique art. Definitely worth checking out. Now I've got a bunch of young readers. I got Batgirl, Supergirl, Superman, and Batman. A bunch of different stories for young readers. I always like that they keep popping those out. And for more young readers, I've got Far Out Fables. Chicken Little Saves the Moon Beast, The Goose That Laid the Rotten Egg, Punk Rock Mouse and Country Mouse, and The Wolf in Unicorn Clothing. Isn't that great, Paul? Paul?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is great.
Cool. There's also this drawing words and writing pictures, which you could not kill a man with. It's too floppy. But this seems...
slap with it.
You can slap a man with this. Very good. Very, very slappable. But this seems like a pretty cool drawing book if you want to check that out.
All right, first up is Ascencia. But first, I need to read this first. Ascencia is about 150 years in the future. The city of Ascencia towers above its sister city, Bethany, in perpetual dominance. The city of immortals, a power resides within Ascencia, coveted by all but access to few. The story is one that what would one do to become immortal? What would they abandon? Who would they betray? And what is the ultimate price they would pay to remain in Ascencia? I read that because none of that is in this book. This book is futuristic Snowpiercer. Literally what it is. There's a person coming from one area into a very rich area to solve a crime. That's what this is. If you like Snowpiercer, you might like this. If you're looking for that, whatever was in that book or in that preview guide, you're not going to get that. And that's one of the things that always bothers me when you're picking up a new issue. 90% of the people are not reading the preview guide to understand what the book is going to be. And if you don't put enough of that in your book, no one is going to care. This is futuristic Snowpiercer. If you like Snowpiercer, get this. If you don't, this is going to make absolutely no sense to you. And it shouldn't, and that's a failure on the writer.
First up for me, I went Future State today, and I've got Future State Justice League, which also features a Justice League Dark story as the backup story. I chose this one because there's a lot of Future State #1s out this week. I wasn't sure where to go. I chose this one because I figured I'd get the most bang for my buck, as Justice League stories have always been. You get the most variety of characters, and some of them I enjoy, some of them I don't, but it's a unique kind of team. The rules of the Justice League are slightly different. You don't really want to fraternize after hours, and you don't want to know everyone's secret identities, even though most of them pretty much know it. And there's an interesting new Legion of Doom that is trying to take them out, and they have this great plan that cannot fail. And then you fast forward to tomorrow, and they're all dead. And the Justice League find them because their plan led them there, and you got to figure out what happened to them. And it's very much a whodunit story. Not what I was expecting. I did enjoy it. Very weird. The backup story is also super good. If you like magic characters and the Justice League Dark, I think you'll enjoy it. It goes to a pretty interesting place. But, yeah, just not the best thing I read this week.
Next up, we have Haha, issue #1. This is a really weird book, and then I looked and found out it's from the creator of Ice Cream Man, and now it all makes sense. These are very weird things. Two things that you're going to make sure that you have to understand. Number one, these are all one-shots. Every issue is a one-shot about clowns. So if you're freaked out about clowns, avoid this book at all costs, because they're all about clowns. This is a very weird one-shot issue. The art is very odd. Once you get to the end of the story, you understand the artistic interpretations of what they're going for. It all makes sense, surprisingly, because this book is weird. It's weird, but it's an interesting read. This follows a guy named Bart, who is a clown, and he's kind of me. He always has a very optimistic look on life when he probably shouldn't. And so many bad things happen to him, and he still is just like, always got to look on the brighter side of life. At one point, he gets shot in the head, and still going. So it's a weird one. But if you're looking for something off, looking for one-off kind of stories, if you like the Ice Cream Man, you'll probably like this. This was really weird. So, like, I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's not. It's actually a pretty interesting read and a pretty good read. It's just weird. If you don't like clowns, this is going to creep you the hell out. So it is up to you if you decide to go on this book, but I mean, it's worth the check out.
All right, next up, another Future State book. I went on Marvel and DC this week, and Paul didn't. Isn't that really fun? Spoiling it. I don't care. All right, so Future State, Dark Detective. Let's see what's going on with this book. It's a different Batman book from the one that was released last week. This one focusing on Bruce Wayne. And it's a pretty interesting dynamic where there's this new police force in conjunction with the GCPD. And it's basically Bruce Wayne's fault that they came into being, it seems like. And they're hunting him as Batman. Batman is presumed dead. Bruce Wayne is also presumed dead. And you're kind of jumping in at that point, like, what happened? Pretty interesting story. It goes some weird places. I don't really want to give those away, but what I will say is the backup story of Grifter, which was written by Matthew Rosenberg, is fantastic. And Matthew Rosenberg is very quickly becoming one of my favorite writers. I mean, he was pretty much already there, but this was just so good because I don't follow Grifter, and now Grifter's a big part of the Batman mythos. It's him interacting with Luke Fox, which was Batwing, and it's just a wild story. It's just wild, the things that happen, and that really is what nearly made it my pick of the week. What could top Matthew Rosenberg and dethrone him, because I just said that he's one of my favorites. You'll have to wait and see.
What is my pick of the week? I raved about this book a month ago, and the only thing that irritates me about this book is it's only 5 issues. It is E-ratic issue #2. I love everything about this book. It is it's hard to explain. Anyway, you're dealing with a character who has so many different powers and so many cool things that he can do, but he can only do them for 10 minutes a day and then is completely powerless for the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of the day. And in the last issue, he saw someone witnessed what his powers were and is desperately trying to out him as a superhero, and things go wrong. And she's trying to out him in school, and the hilarity that happens because she's getting people to beat him up, and he's just taking the beatings because he can't do anything for another 20 some odd hours after the events here. And there's so much cool backstory. The writing is brilliantly done. It's very well done. It really captures high schoolers. It really does capture a lot of this kind of stuff. It's just an amazing book. You should pick up E-ratic issue number 1 so you can see this. Issue number 2 is just as good. I loved everything about it. It's one of these, this is how you know if I like a book. If I start irritating Tim while he's reading his books because I keep talking about this book.
Oh my God, it's the worst.
That's how you know I like a book. And I did that with E-ratic. And to his credit, he did not call me out for it, which was weird because he usually does and gets irritated about it. But I think he was pretty close to being done his books, so it didn't bother him as much.
I liked E-ratic too. I read issue 1.
Okay, see, there you go. He didn't mind. But this is a really good book. The art is amazing. I love the art style in here. The writing is fantastic. You should definitely be doing yourself a favor and grabbing this book.
What could possibly topple Matthew Rosenberg in an issue that I like that much? It's a different issue written by Matthew Rosenberg. You see what I did there? Isn't that nice? It is King in Black Thunderbolts, issue 1. And what you have here is a new Thunderbolts team gets thrown together, kind of against their will, by the Kingpin to help try and stop Null and all the events that are happening in King in Black, which is pretty awesome. You get Star, you get Taskmaster, you get Batroc the Leaper. I love Batroc. And you get Mr. Fear, and you get a couple other characters. The Rhino, some you know, some are a little less known. And the interaction of these characters and what happens, it is amazing. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see where they go with it. Basically, their whole goal is to help turn the tides of this war, and they are going to go do a goal. You don't know what it is. And when they get there, it's great. Just such a good book. Can't wait for issue 2. Keep it up, Rosenberg. You're great. I enjoyed this very much. And if you read any tie into King in Black, I think this is the most accessible. It's almost happening at the same time as everything else, off to the side. Check it out. All right, guys, that is it. We are done. Watch Paul play video games on Twitch. He does it the best. Call him Daddy. He likes that. And
No,
that is it, everybody. We're done.
No, just why?